I think it's important in this discussion to think about, I have to speak for the Sawtooth National Recreation Area just for a minute. It's a place of national significance. It's recognized through that legislation that Jen talked about that was passed in 1972 because Idahoans and Congress recognized that this is one of the special places in our nation. And unusually, Congress also listed the values that are to be protected in the Sawtooth National Recreation Area, which are fish, natural, scenic, wildlife, historic, and pastoral, that contribute to recreation and enjoyment. Now, this is a national mandate to do this in this very special place. Regular public lands, your regular national forest lands and Bureau of Land Management lands do not have this prioritization system that protects these values that is the reason a lot of us live here. So, consequently, often those values are not protected. So this is a special place where that happens. The taxpayers have spent millions of dollars to buy up development rights through scenic easements in the Sawtooth Valley. And they even moved a small town, Obsidian, out of there. And if that hadn't happened, that effort, that money, then the Sawtooth Valley would be covered with houses and condominiums. You know it. I mean, and that would hugely change that area that is really, really significant nationally and to us here locally. It's our backyard. We are so fortunate to have that backyard. But because it's our backyard, I think we can take it for granted that whatever we do, it's okay. You know, especially if it's a small thing, seemingly, it's okay. So that's the management of the private lands. The public lands, the national forest lands within the SNRA, the Forest Service is required to manage development very strictly on those lands. And the more recreation use there is on some part of the SNRA, the more strictly they must manage that area. So if you're talking about a site like Galena Summit, where many, many people ski and hike, and those values that I talked about that the legislation requires be protected, those values are in evidence there in natural and scenic values. And they're required to protect that recreation value and enjoyment. The law promised it in 1972. It's rare for Congress to take a piece of land that's managed by the administration, the Forest Service, and say, here's how we're going to manage this special piece of land. And yeah, the Forest Service will still manage it, but we're going to say how it's to be done. It's rare. And Congress only does that in places that are of huge significance for values, the values that they listed there. You know, the Idaho Conservation League cares about public safety as well. And if you're focused solely on that and on communication, like the experts that are here tonight, I can see how you come down where you come. But there are other things to be considered. And there are many, many people who want to know that as technology advances and development advances across and covers our country, that there are places that are going to remain as they've been. That's a value the public really cares about, and I hear about that all the time, of course. So I just would encourage people to give some thought to that. The SNRA is a special national treasure. It isn't just our backyard, and it isn't only about public safety. There are other things too that we need to think about.